Hey, accountability buddies, this is Les with another episode of Less is More Healthy. This time, doing a coffee outside episode. So, I'm recording this a little differently. I'm doing a voiceover. I went for a short bike ride yesterday after being off the bike for what felt like a week, close to a week, due to rain and then travel. And we made the phenomenally stupid decision to not bring our bikes with us to Maine. We really should have. We would have had a great ride. Um, yeah, I think I was most of the vacation off a bike. I did take the Gary Fisher out for about a 15-minute ride around the farm. The road tires on it were not not good for the ride. Just too much gravel. I do think a gravel bike would be super fun on those roads around the farm. So when I get some gravel tires on the Gary Fisher, I'm gonna take it back up and ride it around. Or I might put some gravel specific tires on the Kona and ride it around. But anyway, my ride yesterday, I decided to just do something short with a few hills that I ride on the regular. So I did my usual part of my usual commute. So I rode up Bridge Street, which has a what someone wrote as a slight incline on Strava, which was hilarious because that's the ride where I was first out biking that made me lose my lunch, and it I thought I was gonna die. Now I can do it. I'm breathing hard, but it's not awful. So I did that, and then I looped around Salem and onto the rail trail down Lafayette, which is one of my favorite descents. It's a good long stretch. You can get some good speed going, and it's a good end of the ride when I do my commute. So, and then I rode out to Winter Harbor, sat next to the harbor master station on a patch of concrete, fired up my alcohol stove, which is a AliExpress, no, Temu, knockoff of a Trangia. It does all right. I boiled up some water and made myself a cup of coffee. So just enjoying the view out onto Salem Harbor as as I brew my coffee and sip my coffee. And yeah, so that's what I did. It was a good ride too. At 12 and a half miles, it wasn't particularly long, but it was a good ride to kind of like stretch my legs and get more comfortable in the saddle after being a week off the bike. Um, just kind of really enjoying the ride. The ride uh, downhill. There's like I planned the route based off of downhills. And a few hills to kind of like push myself. Hills are not my favorite. I know I need to add hills into the route to stretch my athleticism, or my fitness, if you will. So this is a very simple coffee setup. It's an alcohol burner. It's made out of brass with a little aluminum stand that the pot sits on, and you boil water. And then I'm using a Kalita, I think it's called a can or a Cantan dripper system, and you slowly pour your just boiled water through it. The pot is a very inexpensive, again, Timu pot, 600 milliliters. It does have a lid. I use the lid to hold the alcohol stove up off the ground. I found that it can get some surfaces quite hot. Now, the water would boil faster if I used the lid for its intended purpose, but, it's also pretty warm out, so not a big deal, I think. It was in the mid 70s yesterday when I was out doing this. So, the thing that I did notice with this alcohol stove is that it desperately needs a windscreen. I knew going out into it that the alcohol stove was not going to perform well if it didn't have a windscreen. I didn't think it was going to be that windy or that I could find a secluded spot where I could build up a windscreen out of rocks. Unfortunately, all of the camping spots that had loose rocks were not available. So I ended up at the harbor master station, uh, to brew my coffee. So anyway, here you can see I'm pouring some water in to the cantan, adding a little more. So this is just a slow process of like filling it with water, letting the water drain through, adding more water until you're done. So I've got 20 grams of coffee in the cantan filter. It is in a silicone collapsible cup bowl mug thing. That is not my favorite. It's a little too wide for the cantan, so it is resting on the inner lip of the cup. It's not perfect. But that's okay. I'm just brewing up a cup of coffee to enjoy as I look at the view. Um, Unfortunately, you can't see. There's a tiki hut boat that it's a bar, and it has just left behind me. So it's just left the harbor. It's got, I think, 18 seats. So it is a harbor cruise under a tiki hut, and someone just drives this thing around while someone serves tiki-based drinks all around the harbor. It's kind of fun, or I've heard it's fun. I've never been on it, and now that I'm no longer drinking alcohol, I may never have a chance to do it because I don't know if they serve virgin drinks. Probably, from what I understand, it's pretty expensive to do, and usually people get pretty lit doing it. But my coworkers and I used to watch it. I go around the harbor when we were at my old workplace. All right, so here I'm just kind of packaging up the stove, trying to do it one-handed, not successfully. So it does take two hands to put the lid on this thing. It does have a sealed lid, so I do store the alcohol right there in it. And I package everything up before I'm done drinking my coffee, which is kind of a mistake. I have to open my little handkerchief up and repackage things. So this is a doggy do bag. I keep these in my camp set because they're compostable. So anything that is compostable, supposedly the cantan filters are 100% compostable. But I have put them into my home compost, and they have not composted. There's a thin layer of some sort of cornstarch based compostable material that doesn't, my home compost doesn't get hot enough to compost. So the bandana I'm using is a rainbow bandana from a local bank. I'm not generally into the whole corporate pride nonsense. I think it's a convenient thing for a company to be like, oh, hey, yay, gay, and put out some pride stuff. But the bandana was free and it was a rainbow, even if it did have a giant logo across it. It was just kind of fun. I got it for free. So, yeah, rocking it as part of my camp kitchen setup. So here I am just kind of wandering around, drinking my coffee. Down in front of me, you can't really see it, but all along the water there are staghorn sumacs. And I missed getting some of the droops this year to make some sumac aid, or it's like a lemonade. It's got malic acid, very tasty. And in Massachusetts, you've got to harvest them in mid-August when they're bright red, and I missed it. So bummer for me. Anyway, so that's a little coffee outside, a little update. Here I am tying up my bandana again around my cook set. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go have some coffee outside and then, ride your bike or go for a walk, go for a hike. I'm hoping to do more of this in the fall when I do more hiking. Also, leave no trace. So here I'm picking up someone else's trash. You see the bottle right there. I stopped to pick it up. And you'll see straight ahead of me, just to the right of the Harbor Master's building, a trash barrel. So we're less than 50 feet away from a trash barrel. and someone chose to throw their water bottle on the ground instead of putting it into the trash barrel. There really should be a recycle bin here as well, but there aren't. So anyway, thanks, and I'll see you next time.